welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, July 25th, 2016. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. 52-year-old Paul Imat Scrub, a local Calypsonian who is based in the USA, has been arrested on two separate charges of threats and sedition on the Prime Minister and his family between December 9th and December 31st, 2015. According to the charges that were read out in the court earlier today, Scrub is reported to have uttered seditious words. Rav Gonsav should be assassinated, also his whole family, period, unquote. Scrub, who appeared before Chief Magistrate Rayshon Brown, was not allowed to plead to the charges as they were laid indictably. There was no objection to his bail, which was set in the sum of $25,000 with one surety. Scrub was also ordered to surrender all travel documents and cannot leave the state without the express permission of the court. He is to report to the Calico Police Station between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays. October 31st, 2016 is a date set for the preliminary inquiry. Lawyer for Calypsonian Paul Imat Scrub, Israel Bruce, believes that the charges brought against Scrub is tantamount to a witch hunt. Speaking to the media right after Scrub was charged with threats and sedition on the Prime Minister and his family, the attorney explained that he was flabbergasted by the state prosecutor's claims that they needed 3 months to prepare a case against his client. Bruce said that this proves that there was not enough evidential sufficiency to lay a case against Scrub in an incident that allegedly occurred 7 months ago.
Scrub would have been in St. Vincent for 5 weeks, and on the very day he was about to board the Liat aircraft, he was taken off the aircraft or from the airport terminal, and the charge was he was taken to the Central Police Station. He was interviewed and then charged. You would find it very strange that there's an application by the Crown this morning that they would need some 3 months to prepare their case against Mr. Scrub. So I wonder, where is the application of the full court test? The full court test says that you must have an evidential sufficiency before you proceed. And even on the presence of an evidential sufficiency, you must ask yourself whether or not it is in the interest of the national interest to proceed with the matter. Clearly, if you have a matter of the type for which Mr. Scrub is charged, there's a national interest. But where is the evidential sufficiency? If you had that, why would you need 3 months as of today's date to investigate then before you can properly lay your case in the court? So that says to me that it is witch hunting.
Bruce disclosed that he believes that the charges were trumped up by the state in an effort to send intimidation signals to persons living overseas, that they can be punished for their media posts and utterances on the World Wide Web. The lawyer also expressed concern over Scrub's ability to financially provide for himself, wife and offspring, since he cannot leave the country for 3 months.
And it is intended to satisfy some of the available positions in the cybercrime bill. That is not just an act. In my respectful submission, here it is that Scrub and whoever else are residing in North America, Canada, USA, Canada as North America, Europe, wherever you are, is to send them a message. Wherever you are, do not say anything, because when you come to St. Vincent, we can use our powers of arrest and arrest you. Now, this man has a job. You know what that means? By virtue of upholding the request to have him here for 3 more months, his job goes into jeopardy. He loses that job. Nobody cares. And you're doing that now, so you ask for him to stay here for 3 months whilst you investigate.
Bruce reiterated that what he termed as scaremongering tactics will not work against the people living in St. Vincent and in the diaspora, as they will speak out against injustice.
The incident is said to have occurred sometime around December 2015. So you had between December and June, and July. So in 7 months, you couldn't have enough evidence to bring the charge. But you want 3 more months now, and in 3 months you'll be able to do it. Now, let the ordinary man who's listening to this and who's hearing this come to one conclusion. The ultimate objective is scaremongering, to scare people like Paul Scrub and the others. But for those who intend to succeed on scaremongering, they must get one message: it will not work. The people in the diaspora will be resolved to speak about issues in St. Vincent. Mind you, the utterances as alleged were not made by this man. Not by this man. But that is a legal hurdle to which I would not address. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What kind of work does your client have in the United States?
Well, I don't know particularly what he does. If he cares to say, I don't think he wants to make any statement at this time. Okay. So he works legitimately in the United States of America.
Calypsonian Robert Patches Knight has described the arrest of his fellow Calypsonian, Paul Imat Scrub, as vindictive and spiteful. Knight, who is also an opposition activist, says that he is concerned that hackers can crack into emails and other means of communication and place defamatory threats.
I personally feel that this is a spiteful and vindictive move, because I spoke to Ahmad a couple of weeks ago while he was here, and two, I'm not that fancy on the Facebook, the internet, okay? I'm learning things, but I'm of the impression that people could imitate you, they could impose on you, they're imposters who could put things on the internet and make it out to be like you. But again, if what they're saying and accusing Ahmad of, let's say it's real, we have cases where men call on the radio in the public domain and threaten to take people's lives, and it was boiled down to being what, pecan.
Also at the hearing was Josette Bibi Bowens, who was charged last year with 2 counts of obscene publications. When asked about the Paul Scrub incident, Bibi Brown had this to say.
It would not be nice.
She might put it.
No, yes, it would definitely have. So, and then they would have reason to charge me again. So I really don't have nothing to say.
There was no stop order preventing the proprietor of the Buckermint Bay Resort, David Ames, from leaving SVG. This was revealed by the Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, Colin John, as he spoke with SVG Television today on this issue. John stated that stop orders are normally given when a person before the court is considered a flight risk, and Ames was not brought before the court on charges, had no stop order issued against him. John said that without a stop order from the court, Ames could not have been prevented from leaving the state.
It is up to the prosecution team if they object to the bail. So if they say, well, okay, yes, I'm objecting to this person's bail, they would have to state the grounds for the objection. So one of the grounds can be that, okay, this person is a flight risk, that if they leave St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there's no guarantee, or there's a very real likelihood that they would not return to St. Vincent and the Grenadines when the trial is scheduled. An objection might be, okay, they might interfere with witnesses in a case where someone is fearful for their life, or fearful that some harm may come to them or their family. Based on my information, I said before, there's no stop notice or no directive given by the court to prevent this particular individual from leaving the state.
John, however, added that extradition measures are available to the prosecution, and he is confident that if such measures were taken, Mr. Ames would be brought back to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, that's St. Vincent and Grenadines. We have extradition arrangement with the UK. We have sent persons to the UK already on their request, and I'm very confident that if we make that request, once they can locate him, they would be prepared to adhere or fulfill their end of the bargain. So extradition is a real possibility, and it's a tool that can be used by the prosecution. Yeah.
Family and relatives in Sandy Bay and Clare Valley are mourning the loss of their loved one, 15-year-old Giovanni Sutherland Sam, who lost his life while spearfishing with his 2 cousins, Kareem and Keontae Francis, on Saturday, July 23rd. SVG-TV News visited the grieving relatives in Clare Valley, who explained the tragic events of Saturday morning. Nolisha Miller has more in this report.
It was supposed to be a fun day of spearfishing for 15-year-old Giovanni Sutherland Sam. But events turned tragic for Sutherland Sam, who on Saturday, July 23rd, drowned in the area known as Robert Bay, which separates Clare Valley and Kittels. SVG-TV visited the relatives of the deceased Sutherland, who explained that the deceased, along with his 2 cousins, Kareem, 16, and Keontae, 14, were spending some of their summer vacation in Clare Valley, as they are residents of Sandy Bay. Though stricken with grief, the Francis brothers explained that Sutherland Sam, was the strongest swimmer of the trio and always frequented the beach. The elder Francis' brother Kareem tells SVG-TV News that the deceased Sutherland Sam, who had been watching television and playing video games the day before, had complained of boredom on the fateful Saturday morning and suggested that they go spearfishing. He noted that while in the water, Sutherland had experienced difficulties.
When we went in the water, he first go down, he started to spit a little blood. Then he said, Joe, if you start to spit blood, let's go back home. Then he said, oh no, we go continue going. We got a bit frustrated now, and then he said, oh, he going to bike with her. And me just start to walk ashore and me leave them, let them go. And me start to go ashore, then he go off in the deep, Giovanni, go off in the deep.
Francis said he was experiencing difficulties with his fishing gear and suggested to Sutherland and his brother that they return home.
I went up there with them and meet he and Joe. But Joe was down at the bottom. Then we wait until he come up and say, Joe, let's go show. The kite tide been done come hard. Then after me go back in the water, now that time I hear them keep come on top of the boat. I say Joe gone down. Joe gone down. It's repeat like two times them years. After me hear them, I said, oh, Joe dead. It makes sense I go back for him and I go show.
Meantime, younger brother Keontae Francis tells SVG-TV News he was together with Sutherland, and while he witnessed the drowning, there was very little he could do beyond calling for help.
Boy go down first time and he see two angel fish, and then after he come up and he go back down, me see he come up back full speed, and then me see he start sink back down with the hand across his chest, and then me call Aston, which been the boatman.
Meanwhile, Kareem Francis was lost for words when asked about his relationship with his now deceased cousin, Giovanni Sutherland Sam. He said he considered the deceased more a brother than a cousin, as they had a close relationship.
If he want to go beach, I'll be there, I'll go with him. Until like probably sometimes we go 8 o'clock and we coming back until dark.
So you guys have a history of going out to fish, isn't it?
A hobby. That was our hobby.
Right.
But then he used to like have majority of his intention on diving. They have this clip that they call One Fish Going East. He always be watching that clip and say he'll be inspired by that.
According to police reports, Sutherland's body was retrieved from some 90 feet of water. Speaking to Petty Officer of the SVG Coast Guard Lennox Williams, he outlined a few safety guidelines persons can adhere to when frequenting the beach.
Don't horseplay. I always advocate no horseplay and cut out the breath holding. Breath holding is basically something, maybe what this guy did. So what we call breath holding is that you're going to take 2, 3, 4 puffs of oxygen and you go down. But what happens when you do that, you're not really enriching your body with oxygen. It's like your body definitely still going to be low on oxygen. It's just you take 2, 3, 4 puffs, but the carbon dioxide really hasn't come down of your body. You know, and when you go down, your body gonna definitely call for that oxygen. One breath is good.
Sutherland was pronounced dead at the scene, and the recently concluded autopsy revealed that his death was due to drowning. Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.
Meantime, 15-year-old Giovanni Joe Sutherland Sam leaves family and friends mourning his sudden loss. Sutherland Sam, a Sandy Bay resident, drowned on Saturday, July 23rd in the area known as Roberts Bay, the border that separates Kettles and Clare Valley. The deceased was reportedly spending his summer vacation with relatives. According to reports, he left home on Saturday morning about 10 o'clock with the intent to go spearfishing. Speaking to Sita Ming Francis, aunt of Kareem and Keontae Francis, she explained Sutherland approached her early Saturday morning asking for his fishing gear.
So I said, he can dive because he's boring. He play game and watch TV whole day yesterday, so he will go dive today. So I said, okay, because I know that's what they always do. That's their hobby. They just always go and dive and shoot fish. So then they left. They drink the tea and they left. And we say, okay. Then we come out the road and we sit down. All of a sudden, a young man from the same boat behind me, we're fishing, came and said to me, Ming, one of the boys jumped in the clay boy. And then he said, no, not clay one, you know, one with the pretty hair. And then me almost go crazy because I know what he's saying. So it kind of confused me, so me run up the road, me run back down the road. And then mommy say, you know, which one, and we know who he talking about. It doesn't matter which one, because once he say one gone down, entire we feel it. And then we see the boat, we see my uncle come with me two nephew in the boat, and then we realize that the person was gone, was Joe.
Francis noted that it was a custom of Sutherland's, along with her 2 nephews, to go fishing almost every day.
He came down already and spent a week and they went back up. And when they came down for the week, that was what they was doing, shooting fish. And they from Sandy Bay, and they just do it up there where the water is much more dangerous. And the water down here real calm. So they do it here, they down here since Carnival Tuesday. And it's every day they go shoot the fish. And so they're selling the fish to make the money for the summertime. So every day they go in and they shooting fish and everything is a hobby from Sandy Bay because they came down with the fin, the gun and the diving glass. And they go out every morning and come back sometime in the evening or sometime during the day, lunchtime. They will come back if according to the amount of fish they don't shoot. And normally my son went with them, my daughter went with them. But that day he wanted to go and they said they wanted to stay home and catch Pokemon and watch TV. And he said he boring and then carry him and can't say they go.
Francis describes Sutherland as an individual of a quiet and humble disposition whose sole interest was in the beach and diving. She further lamented that it is a heartbreaking thought of Sutherland Sam's youth and his passing. Meanwhile, Noreen Ursi Joyette, grandmother to the Francis brothers, explained that she was in total shock upon hearing the news of Sutherland's demise.
Oh, I feel so heartbroken. I broke down in tears.
Did you even believe what they were saying?
No, I couldn't believe. And I feel so sorry that Giovanni have to go down so.
Right. Because in the morning you prepared breakfast for them before they left?
Sometimes, but they prepared their breakfast that morning.
Tell me what happened in your wards.
In my wards, he home and one of them tell him where they go and look for Pokemon. He said that he's not going. And home boring, he just asleep and watch TV every minute and man, I come out we go man. Right, so he lead out the house and say, man, come out we go man, and they lead out the house and I don't study them again until we did it. Right there with the lady that I sat down there when the boy come with the news. Meng want the boy there, they know want the boy there at Kettelsby.
For the third consecutive year, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard has dubbed their youth summer program, Shaping Our Youths for Life's High Seas. The primary focus of this year's program is team building, and the program, which has commenced its second phase today, will work at having youth work together towards a common goal. Petty Officer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard, Kenlet Francis, earlier today pointed out how the summer program's theme can impact their lives.
This in our society today. Our youth like they're going astray. And youth will go on drugs, they will go on violence. So what we are teaching them is to get them away from drugs. As a matter of fact, there's alternative to the violence and the crime. So while we are shaping their life, we are putting things to them that will cause them not to go on the drug side or the crime side, but they will come on the positive side where they could make a positive impact to the society, as we are telling them that there should not be society's breakdown, but there should be the solution to the society today.
Petty Officer Francis also highlighted the various activities that the program would encompass.
We are focusing on the Coast Guard because we're doing navigation in the Coast Guard. We're doing safety at sea and nautical terminologies, because we have to know on a boat, which is we don't ever say left and right, port and starboard, bow and stern. So we're doing nautical terms. We are doing knots. We should be splice as well, but we're not doing this splice. So we are teaching them the different knots that we use on the Coast Guard vessels. We are doing personal and leadership development, conflict resolution, because we want the youth them to be able to resolve conflict in a non-violent manner. We are teaching them as well human sexuality and substance abuse and prevention. That we're saying there's alternative to the drugs and the violence.
Participants of the summer program were elated to share with SVG-TV how the program had impacted their lives thus far.
Things that I've never learned before, you know, she is expanding our knowledge by teaching us new words and all those.
Learn how to accept who you are and don't let anybody change you for nothing. You must always be yourself no matter what. I think the lady who is speaking right now, she is a very good speaker. You know, she knows what she's doing.
Like change your life, and new challenges to get to know better. I learn stuffs in the Coast Guard, how to do stuffs, and I was looking for like when I grow up join it one time.
The effects of the liberalization and decriminalization of marijuana is a topic down for discussion at an upcoming Free Up the Herb panel discussion to be held later this week. Speaking with SVG-TV News, CARICOM youth ambassadors of SVG, Chelsea Ferdinand and Andre Brown, in an interview with SVG-TV say there will be presentations from various representatives from the Christian community. The Cannabis Revival Committee, the SVG Police Force, and the psychiatrist and lawyer will also share various opinions and insights.
On the viability or possible outcomes of legalizing or decriminalizing marijuana in St. Vincent and the CARICOM region on a whole. We are trying to get the perspectives, the opinions of different sectors in our society. So on the panel we will be having different representatives from the Christian community, the Cannabis Revival Committee. We'll have a psychiatrist, a lawyer, and a representative from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. What we're trying to do is get persons who are experts in their fields and would be able to provide intelligent discussions on how it would affect St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's going to be very interactive, it's going to be very empowering, it's going to be eye-opening, it's going to be an experience that you will not want to miss, and it's a special appeal to the young persons because this is going to affect you, this society, this generation. It's all about you, so it's time for you to come out, speak up. It's no longer a taboo issue, and we would love to have everyone's opinions coming out.
Andre Brown told us that the objectives of the discussion are awareness, influencing decisions of policymakers by hearing the thoughts of the public, as well as giving Vincentians, especially the youth, a platform to voice their opinion.
The primary objective of it is to raise awareness in the public forum. The secondary one that we're looking at is to get the feedback from the public as well. That's why there's a question and answer period that we also provided on the night. There's also a third aspect where we want to maybe poke the policymakers a little bit so that they have more information and they can see what the public believes, and they can take it from there and make the necessary changes or what have you, to make sure that the public is pleased with the direction that we're heading in.
The panel discussion takes place this Wednesday, July 27th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. at the French's House. Police at the Major Crime Unit have arrested and charged 5 men from the Vermont area with the July 20th murder of Camu Jones of Union Island. Arrested are Malcolm Pauline, Bryden Joseph, Shimai Joseph, Courtney Joseph, and Mark Weeks Jones. That's Mark Weeks. Jones's lifeless body was discovered with multiple gunshot and cutlass wounds to his body in the downstairs of a house in Vermont where he was staying. All 5 men who appeared this morning before Chief Magistrate Rachel Brown at a serious offences court on the joint indictable charge were not allowed to plea. Bail was not allowed and they were remanded into custody until November 1st, 2016, when a preliminary inquiry is expected to commence.